Welcome guys to today's video. Today we are going to take a look at 3 of my favorite problems. Also, it's my first video, so I really appreciate if you would subscribe and like the video. It helps me out a lot and you can always change your mind later. The first problem we will be looking at is a study made by Troitsky. He was known for making endgame studies, but he unfortunately died of starvation during World War II at the siege of Leningrad. Why to play and win? You should stop the video here and try to find the solution. The solution here is bishop b3. Black has 3 options here. He can either play king takes b3, which after knight c5 check, black loses the queen and the game shortly after. Or he can play king b5 or king d3. If he plays king b5, then white can play bishop a4 check. What forces him to take on a4, the knight c5 check comes and wins the queen again. But after king d3, black actually has drawing potential here. Knight c5 check is still the best move, winning the queen, but then black can take on d2, and this is a hard position to win with white. Even some FIDE masters can win these positions. Alright, this study was made by Andersen. Here, black is threatening multiple things. The first being made on the h2 or g2 squares, and the next one being the e2 pawn, threatening to promote. And last but not least, a knight is also hanging on f6. What can white do to win this position? You should stop the video here for a few minutes and try to find a solution. The solution is queen e6 check. Queen e6 was played to stop the mating threats, so you can play knight d7 after black takes. This threatens rook b8 checkmate, so black has to take. You play rook b8 check anyway, king takes, pawn takes, and black has no way of defending himself. Alright, let's move on to the next one. Let's look at our final matchup here. This is a matchup between former world champions Capablanca and Lasker. If I'm correct, this was played at the World Championship. Why to move? Think about it for a few minutes. Try to find a solution for yourself. The solution is rook a8. Of course, you can't take with the king because that's a stalemate. After rook takes a8, black has 3 options here. He can slide away with the king to b7, take the rook with his knight, or take it with his king. I can't speak. Let's first take a look at knight takes a8. After this move, you can play king c8, which after he's forced to play knight c7, where you can take his knight, and these moves are pretty much forced. And here you are going to promote and win the game. Alright. Let's see king b7 now. After this move, you can play rook e7 check, where he has to take, because if he goes to b8, the king's only other square, you can take his knight. Therefore, he has to take on a7, you take on c7, and it's the same type of promoting as we saw earlier. And now let's take a look at black's final move, king takes a8. After this move, you are more or less forced to take on c7, because if you don't, then you're not going to win. He has to play king a7, you play king c6, and if he plays king a8, it transposes to the 2 other variations we just saw earlier. Therefore, he can play king b8, where you take on b6, he plays king a8 or king c8, and if he plays king a8, you can go to c7 and promote the queen afterwards, or he can play king c8, which you can play king a7, and it's kind of the same thing. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please consider subscribing, it's free, and you can always change your mind later. How much of the puzzles did you manage to solve? Write them in the comments down below. See you in my next video.